scenario is that the engineers have spotted some anti-tank mines in the middle of the road, and they're currently scouting out some locations to pull from. So how they'll do that is the engineers will go forward, they'll clear the room, whilst the other engineers are providing security. So that's what we're doing right now.
You're in Kharkiv, where these fellas here are getting training by Australians as to how to install mines, and then there'll be another team that's going to come through and see if they can get through and discover the mines that these guys have set. So it's a simulated exercise here that's been run by a couple of Australians that have come over from Sydney, Gold Coast, Canberra, and they're running this.
Він каже, що просто одна проста примітивна розтяжка поперек стежки нікого не підірве.
So think about how you're going to use that tripwire and then use it.
So is this how they'd expect to find a trap that you've laid out in the field?
Yeah, so it's going to be simulated as close to as reality as possible, so it should be, this is exactly what they'd be doing.
Definitely can be, but it depends on who's been targeted as well. So the Russians have been using a lot of simple ones for infantry because they're easier to set up and they're more likely to get triggered by animals. But then they're using a lot of IEDs as well. They will leave behind a lot of IEDs targeting children, targeting the searchers, targeting civilians, anyone.
While I've been here, we've put through a couple hundred Ukrainian soldiers on that. It's a 2-week course, just covers all of the basic infantry skills like bare bones, just enough to kind of get them through.
For me personally, one of the more scarier parts of EOD in Ukraine is when you deal with scatterable mines, because Russians can set them up from a long way distance, and then they can cover wide range of land. First thing first, it's very difficult to demine, it's very difficult to explode it, and secondly, they can use it in civilian areas. So even if you have to go through, you just cannot deal with, how would you deal with a regular unexploded ordnance, because you're basically surrounded by civilians. And like estimates say that Ukraine would need like dozens of years after this war to get rid of all of the munition that will be here.
So these are just a simulation grenade, so it's just a bit of a sound more than anything. There's no shrapnel, there's no like real explosion. It's just a bang.
So as we can see here, he's just installed a mine in the ground, and the other team's going to come through and try and detect the mine.
So if you have a plastic bag over a vape and connect some wires to it, once you put some pressure on the bag, it will generate a current through the vape, and then that will be enough to set off a detonator. So as long as you're walking along and doing your drills correctly, you'll come along and you'll hit it with the stick.
And that won't be enough to trigger it?
No. It can be on some certain ones. It depends how they're set up. So they can use safety pins, and then it makes the grenade much more sensitive. So even just a little wiggle, it can set it off. Most of the tripwires in the forest will be set off by animals, the majority. So
early on we saw like the Ukrainian army grew like 3 times its size, and a lot of those people, obviously just regular people, that if the war hadn't happened, they wouldn't be soldiers, they would just be going about their business. So just thought that this was a good opportunity to try and give them a chance to get through it and get back to like a normal life.